Okay, so we're going to rig this toothbrush really fast. So first thing I need to do, I'm going to create a control for the animator to use and make a circle and move it up to about the handle area. I'm going to rename this to main control, main underscore control, and then delete history on it. Okay, I've got history on my mesh. I need to check that, delete it. I also want to freeze transformations on both the toothbrush and my new control. And I need to rename my toothbrush to toothbrush. Toothbrush underscore geo for geometry. Okay, now I'm ready to move forward. Now, in order to move the toothbrush with this control, I need to select the toothbrush and then select the control if I remember right, and that will parent the control. If I select the toothbrush and then the control and then press P, it will parent the toothbrush to my control, and then when I select my control, the toothbrush is also selected because they're in the same hierarchy. Now I'm going to add some deformers to the toothbrush. So I'm going to go to create deformer, and I'm not even sure which order to do this in. Didn't mean to do that one. Oh, dang it. Okay, if you ever get these S's popping up all over the place, those are soft mod deformers. I'm not going to teach you how to use those. They're very powerful and can be very fun, but they are definitely beyond the scope of this class. Okay, so create deformer. I'm going to use all nonlinear deformers to do this. I need a bend deformer. I'm going to select the toothbrush geo again, and I'm going to create a squash. Select the geo again, and I'm going to create a twist. Okay, so now I've got 3 deformers on there, and I really need to go through and relabel these as well. So good rigging practices. So I'm going to go to the hypergraph because that's what I prefer to use. And if I control and double click on a node, I can rename it. And I'm going to just toothbrush underscore bin handle. But I'm going to copy that toothbrush underscore because I'm going to add it to each of these deformers. Delete, home, paste. Okay, so I've got everything renamed. Now I know that also I'm going to need these deformers to follow this control. Okay, so I'm going to grab all 3 of them, middle mouse click, and drag them to the main control and parent them to it. Okay, now I need to go through and position these deformers. So first, let's position the bend. I'm going to minimize my hypergraph for now. And I'm going to turn on X-ray so I can really see what's going on. And I don't want to bend the top part of it, the bottom part of it, sorry. So I'm going to turn off the low bound. I'm going to turn low bound to 0. And then I'm going to keep high bound where it's at for now. I'm going to position the bend so it goes straight up the center of the neck of the toothbrush. I'm going to pull it down a tiny bit. Okay. Now I don't really want the head of the toothbrush to bend as well. I just want the neck portion to bend. So I need to change the high bound so that the green line will move down to just below the head of the toothbrush. So to do that, I selected the high bound. I press Control on my keyboard and middle mouse click. I'm pressing Control because it will slow down how fast it edits that attribute when I drag. Okay, and now I can test this. Okay, so I'm bending to the side. That's not necessarily bad. But if I don't want to bend to the side, then I need to rotate it in Y 90 degrees. And now if I play with this curvature attribute, it'll bend forward and backwards, so like it's receiving pressure. Okay, so I'm going to set that back to 0. I'm going to lock this low bound and high bound attribute by selecting those two attributes and say lock selected. That way I can't edit them later because I know they're where I want them to be. Okay, so that's the bend. I'm going to hide it for now. And let's move on to the squash handle. Okay, so this one, I really only want to squash the bristles. So I'm going to move this up. I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees and position it flat against this, what would be the plastic part of my toothbrush. Okay. Then again, I need to adjust these high bound, low bounds. So I'll keep high bound where it's at for now. I'm going to change my low bound to 0. And then I'm going to adjust the high bound again by holding down Control and middle mouse clicking. And I just want it to grab this portion of the toothbrush, the bristles portion of it. Okay, so now let's use the factor and let's see what I've got. Okay, so I'm grabbing the handle of my toothbrush. So because I didn't have enough foresight, I'm going to have to move this out so it doesn't affect that handle. So all I did was bump it out a little bit. Okay, and then I'll go back to my factor and see if it's affecting that handle at all. It's not. Okay, so now I've got my squash where I want it. The bristles can flatten out. So I'll set that back to 0 for now. And I'm going to lock all these attributes. And the factor is the only one I really want the animator to touch. Okay. Now I'm going to hide that one. And we'll go to our twist. And I only want it to twist here at the handle, or just above the handle and below the head, kind of like the bend deformer. Okay, so I need to position it in the center. And I need to center it. I need to set these attributes, my low bound, high bound attributes. I'm going to set my low bound first, and it should go to where I want the twist to begin. Actually, it looks like I need to just move it down so the center is there, and I'll get rid of my low bound again, as I'm forgetting which kind of deformer I'm using. And then I need to adjust my high bound down a little bit. And let's see. Okay, so there we are. I got my twist